Okay, well, I think we'll just get started because the beginning here, we're just going to do some introductions. First of all, thank you so much for coming. You may have seen that this is the first one we've done for new first-time buyers. And so hopefully you find it helpful. Um, our goal today really is to really give you the floor to ask questions. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can either put your question in the chat below, or certainly raise your hand and we can unmute you and you can ask the question personally. So whichever works for you. Some people prefer one over the other. So we don't mind either way. So maybe what we'll do is we'll do like a few introductions for some of the greenhouse experts that are on the call. First, we have Kyle Exner. Kyle is what we call one of our legacy employees here at BC Greenhouse. He's been with us for, Kyle, is it 25 years?
25. I refuse to leave.
You refuse to leave. Yeah, so Kyle's our general manager. Then we have Wayne Pierce, and Wayne is our sales manager, also a longtime employee. We have Cassie Yonkman, one of our head salespeople.
Hello.
And Jennifer Elner, also one of our key salespeople.
Hello.
Hannah Nicholas is our marketing coordinator. She's going to be helping with traffic and handling some of your questions today. And I am Angela Drake. I'm the director of marketing here at BC Greenhouse Builders. You may have got an email or two from me over your time. So what we'll do is we're just going to quickly go into why us. We know it's really hard to see the value and the quality of greenhouses online. And so one of the things we'd like to just cover briefly is, why our product stands out. So we're actually going to go to Wayne for that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So basically I'm just going to touch over a few points of why choose BC Greenhouse Builders. One of the first things I want to talk about is the care we take in building our greenhouses. So if you don't know, we are custom greenhouse builders, meaning that we do build all our greenhouses to order. We believe every greenhouse that our customers orders is, designed to the use of what they want their greenhouse to be. So basically every design can be a little bit different depending on the accessories and such that each customer wants. So we design it right to order, as I said. It goes up to our design team. They draw it out, and the greenhouse is basically broken down into pieces. That's on a cut list, and that goes out to our production shop. And our production is basically hands-on in cutting all the pieces to the correct lengths and notches and everything else that's needed. So when you do get your greenhouse, it's very easy to put everything together. The second one I want to talk about is customization. So as custom builders, we can, we have standard greenhouse designs, which is in 2-foot increments, width and length, that we can produce very easily. But we also have customized greenhouses, meaning that, if you actually have a foundation or a pad or a space that you want to put the greenhouse on, and it doesn't meet some of our standard specifications on our greenhouses, we can customize those sizes to fit exactly the location that you need it. Or as well, we do home attached greenhouses that we can customize the height, the length as we need to fit exactly onto the building that you want to attach this to. The third is made to order. Again, based on your design, the notes I have here, we can build our greenhouses with the right options as well. So catering to what your needs are in respect to what you're growing, the times of year that you're growing, the accessories that we need to put on the greenhouse for those customizations. So we can build exactly to the design and features that you need on the greenhouse for basically your growing needs. The next one is strength. So it's one thing we do have in the market, in our industry, that we can do very well, is that we can customize again or upgrade your greenhouse to proper loads that you need for your area, such as wind loads or snow loads. What we do is upgrade our infrastructure, our structural design of the greenhouse so it can actually adapt to those loads. So, you know, we do build one of the strongest greenhouses in the market, and we can actually, I don't think there's any design that we basically cannot do in regards to structural loads. So, you know, we have sold greenhouses everywhere from Alaska to I think Iceland, right, Kyle, is the other place. So we can meet any type of environment that's any extreme environments that we need for your area. Support. So we have, again, one of the best support teams out there. Support from, of course, the sales expert that sells you the greenhouse. We have a post sales coordinator as well that would kind of guide you from the time you order your greenhouse to the time it's actually delivered to you. We also have a technical support team that when you are installing, or your contractor that's installing a greenhouse has a team here that they can rely on and call into if they have any issues or struggling with any part of the greenhouse that they're installing. And last but not least, probably one of the best warranties in the market as well. We warrant our frame for life. And we know that we're still in touch with a lot of customers that we have out there that have had our greenhouses for 40 to 50 years, that are still standing and still being used. And you know, we're just doing things like replacing glass that they may have broken over the years and such. But yeah, we do know that we do provide one of the best warranties out there, and we know our greenhouse will last a lifetime. Are we open to questions after this, or are we going on to the next?
I have a question. I don't know if
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, we'll be done with our presentation in about 5 minutes, and then we'll go into the Q&A portion, if that's okay, Paul.
yeah.
Great. Thanks,
Okay,
Anna.
thank you. Yeah, so we just wanted to go over some of the resources that we do provide for you here at BCG to kind of give you a feel for what we offer. As most of you, I'm sure, know, our 2023 catalog just dropped about a month ago, and we're super excited about all of the new features that we've included in there, including a couple new articles from different gardeners that we work with, as well as a few new value lean-to model. And there's just a lot in there. So if you haven't taken a look, please go check it out. We also offer a ultimate buyer's guide, planning guide, which you can find on our website as well. We offer our BC Greenhouse Buyer's Checklist. This checklist kind of goes over all of the initial questions that you need to plan for your greenhouse, and that gets sent directly to one of our sales associates here, so you can work on getting all of that together directly. We also offer a couple of different interactive online options if that's the route that you want to go. We have a new digital catalog that features videos and has more information than ever before. And the Design Your Own app, where you can get instant pricing based on the customizations of the greenhouse that you're looking for.
Hey, this looks like me. So I'm going to talk really, really fast so we can get to questions as well. So greenhouses, structures, freestanding or building attached, that's a really common question people have. I like to make a point that we do both. We've done both for almost forever. Freestanding is really easy to plan out and to assemble and to prepare a foundation for. The building attached is a lot more complicated, but no one ever regrets getting a building attached. There's lots of benefits to having it attached to your home. The design of the greenhouse or style, we always like to try and match the style to the landscaping. Our Pacific Curve series looks really great with lots of swooping bends in the landscaping, or curves or arches. Our Cape Cod, which is the steepest pitch, looks really great next to other really steep pitch buildings, schoolhouse type, old schoolhouse, English schoolhouse buildings, that type of thing. The glazing really depends, going back to Wayne, what you're planning on growing and when you're planning on growing it. I like one question there, is there warranty on glass as well? Maybe I'll just answer that one real fast. I know it's taking up to my time, but there is a warranty on the glass, that it will be built to the correct size and dimension. So we take care of that to make sure everything's going to be right as part of any warranty. We don't warranty it against breakage. So if there's a massive impact or something hits it, it is not warranted against that. But I would say we only use tempered safety glass, and it's 10 times stronger than a regular, piece of glass you'd have in a house window. So it is extremely strong. We never have issues with our glass with regards to hail because it's tempered. And then we have other options for laminated safety glass if it's going over a pool enclosure, those types of things. Let me see here. Well, going, I guess, back to design and maybe answer a couple of questions, the other questions that Helena has. The max wind load. We've engineered a greenhouse, I think, up to 150 mile per hour winds. Is that right, Wayne? I think the Gulf Coast of Florida, Alabama, we can meet those wind loads. The best way to secure the greenhouse, again, going to design and foundations, which is part of my thing. To secure it down, we provide all the anchoring hardware to secure the greenhouse down to your foundation. So it's all top down, pinned down from the greenhouse down. So as long as your foundation is secure and your foundation isn't going to go anywhere, then we've figured out with the greenhouse that the greenhouse won't go anywhere. So it can be engineered with the hardware that we provide. As far as the foundations go, if you are in a very high wind area, there will usually, or even snow, there usually have to be some footings put into the ground, concrete footings, or some pilings, or like a continuous footing around the perimeter that you would put down, that the greenhouse would then be secured to, or like an above ground foundation is secured to the below ground part. And that way you're not going to have anything blowing away. So we have our foundation guide gets right into those different foundation options. So I'd suggest that. So hopefully I've answered those questions. We can circle back if there's more. Again, I'm going to move on. Location. I am a big proponent of not just choosing a location based on sun exposure. I also think it's a kind of three equal parts that you're thinking about. One is sun exposure. The other two considerations would be accessibility. Accessibility more so for you to be able to get to your greenhouse without having to walk, yards and yards or hundreds of yards to get to it. And then also for running services out, accessibility for services like electrical or plumbing or gas. The third and final thing is it should look great in your yard. If it looks great and it's easy to get to, you'll be in there more and your plants will be happier. And then as far as personalization go, I think the decorative features and options, we probably have better experts, Jen and Cassie, to talk about those, because I know I'm running out of time, so I'm going to deflect. And the accessories, like Wayne was touching on, we can kit out the greenhouse for whatever growing environment you want. But the two accessories that I say are always mandatory are a maximum minimum thermometer, which lets you track how hot the greenhouse was in the middle of the day in summer, or how cold it got in the middle of the night in winter. So you'll know if you need to adjust the greenhouse with more or less heating or cooling. So that's one of the most important accessories. And the other most important accessories, in my opinion, is air circulation. So an air circulating fan, which can be any household fan that you would have from a hardware store, or we supply them as well. So any fan to just keep the air moving. And that's a 24/7 year-round accessory anytime you have plants in the greenhouse. So hopefully I did that in under 2 minutes. Ange, did I do it in under 2? No?
Okay, I'm just going to briefly talk about some of our limited edition models. So some of the ones that you see up on the screen here are Grapevine Design Chicken Coop Greenhouse. This is a newer limited edition model for us. Exciting collaboration with Lisa from Grapevine Designs. She's designed a chicken coop which attaches directly to our greenhouse, which is perfect for functionality and aesthetic. Also the Epic Gardening Greenhouse. It's a freestanding lean-to, which is more of a modern look, modern kind of design, which is also a bit newer for us in the design trends. Our new value model lean-to, which is fantastic for extending living space, extending greenhouse space onto your home as well. We also have our classic long-standing models like the Parkside model, which is available in 8x10 or 8x12 size. It's more of a Victorian English look with some of our decorative features like the decorative ridge cresting and decorative base panels included. And our Legacy and Sunhaven models, which are both 8x8. Legacy has the glass on the walls with polycarbonate roof, which is a good design combination just for aesthetics and function. And then the Sunhaven model has all polycarbonate, which is great for durability and insulation in there as well. All of these models can be customized as well. You're not limited to the limited. So yeah.
Thanks, Cassie. Over to Jen.
So as Wayne mentioned earlier, here at BC Greenhouses, each greenhouse is made to order. This really allows you to customize a greenhouse so that it meets your needs both aesthetically and functionally. We do offer several different types of glazing options and framing options to choose from. We can even modify the size of the greenhouse, as Cassie mentioned, or adjust the steepness of the roof so that it really works with your space. So here we have some examples of custom greenhouse projects that we've done recently. So an example of a custom greenhouse could be a rooftop greenhouse that's located on top of a high-rise building, or an underground greenhouse, otherwise known as a Wallapini style greenhouse. It could also be a greenhouse where the walls have been modified or even removed to accommodate another structure. It could be a pyramid style greenhouse, or even a greenhouse for your pets or specialty plants. If you want to see more examples of custom greenhouse projects, I do recommend checking out the galleries page on our website. It is perfect for inspiration. So you may be asking yourself, where do I begin if I want a custom greenhouse? If you are thinking of a custom greenhouse, any sketches, measurement site photos are a really great place to start. We could also arrange a Zoom meeting or a virtual site visit to discuss your project in more detail. And we love a challenge, so please don't hesitate to reach out.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen. So now we're into our Q&A section. If you have a question and you want to actually speak your question, if you could use the little like hand raising button on Zoom, that would be great. Otherwise, feel free to leave messages in the chat and I can read them out. I know that Paul, you had a question and we can start with you if you want.
Okay, this is directed at Wayne since he was the first one to talk about and emphasize that whatever greenhouse I may build is customized. And I was told by Cassie, who sent me a quote and all kinds of stuff, that there are standard pieces that you make. And I appreciate the quote. This was very useful information, but it is not clear to me what difference there is between standard pieces and your customization. I wonder if you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, exactly, Paul. Thank you so much. Not knowing what exactly your project is, there are, like I said, we do have modular standard 2-foot increment greenhouses that are basically built exactly the same. They're 24.5 center to center frame systems, 2-foot glazing panels, that type of thing. 5'6" standard sidewall heights. So these are all fairly standard sizes that we have. So anything kind of beyond that, Paul, if you wanted shorter walls or you needed the size, narrowed up a little bit more, instead of, our standard 8'7" 7.5" wide greenhouse, and you need it exactly at 8 feet, we can customize that down to exactly where you need. Maybe if you want to elaborate a little bit more on your project and what you were really looking for, we can definitely help out.
At this point, there isn't that much to say. I gave the footprint to Cassie, and as it happens, I already have a greenhouse that I'm replacing, and in both length and width, it's roughly 6 inches larger, the footprint that I have in concrete, than what she was writing out, and I figure I can fill the difference in wood. The only big difference is that the slope of the current greenhouse matches my roof, and I want the new greenhouse to be flat so that I can go in there and take more than 2 steps and not hit my head against the glass, which is problematic. And so that's where I got into, okay, what is the customization aspect? But I think you pretty much answered the question by saying, okay, you have some standard sizes for the bulk of the building, and then if I need to have something tweaked, then we can talk about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
The only other piece of that is, can you give me some ballpark figure as to, if I need some kind of customized glass, how much more?
Yep, definitely. We can do that. Looks like you cut out there for a minute. But definitely I can look over that with Cassie, Paul, and see what is needed to fit exactly your dimensions, and we can definitely give you the customization costs involved in doing so.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
If you don't mind me stepping in as well, I just wanted to mention, typically if there's like new lean-to requests that come through before we have dimensions, we generally base on a 5/12 pitch, but we are definitely not limited to that. So we can make any adjustments needed to height once we know the overall height that's needed. I'm more than happy to figure that out.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I just wanted to say, this is great. We have lots of questions. So BCG team will just try and keep it as concise as possible, just so that everyone's questions get addressed. And certainly wanted to mention, if we don't get to your question for some reason, we'll give you contact information at the end of the webinar, and we'll make personal contact with you. So I think we're going to go to Tom Servino's question next.
Yeah, so Tom emailed in a question, so I figured I'd just read it out here. We have 2 possible locations for our greenhouse. The first is closer to the house, easily accessible to gas and power lines, but in a constrained location for construction. The second is further away from the house, not easily accessible to gas and power lines, but is a good open location for construction. Which do you recommend? And if you were to choose the second option, what alternative utilities would you recommend? Solar with battery, heating unit, propane, other gas sources?
Go ahead, Kyle.
I would always, you only have to build the greenhouse once. It only gets put up one time. So if it's not impossible to install it close to your home where it's accessible for you and accessible for utilities, I would suggest finding a way to do it. Our greenhouses are typically permanent, lifetime structures, lifetime hobbies. So get it where you're going to love it. And that'd be my answer. If it's not possible and you end up choosing to go somewhere else, then propane is a source for heat, getting propane tank if you can't have natural gas. And solar is good for cooling, but not necessarily ideal for heat. So then you might be looking at other, if it's not propane, some other alternative geothermal or other things we can talk about offline.
Awesome. And I see a hand raised, so if you want to go ahead.
I just was wanting to ask Kyle about the, keeping it where you're going to originally put it. They're not easily like disassembled. Like you have to keep it up, but if you decide to move, can you put it down and put it back up at a new location, or is that not an option?
I can answer that. Like you definitely
Uh-huh.
can, Michelle.
Okay.
You know, we've had many customers that have actually changed locations and residences and have been able to dismantle the greenhouse and then reinstall it again
Okay.
at the new location. The only thing you would ever need to do so is, of course, new sealant and such when putting up, you know, at the new location. But yeah, I know I've had one customer has moved it 5 times, so
Okay. That's
so it
good.
can be done.
Okay. All right. All right.
Awesome. Thanks for the great question. I do have one from the chat from Vivian. She asked, is it common or acceptable to create a customized greenhouse without a fan and heating?
Can you repeat that, Hannah? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Is it common or acceptable to create a customized greenhouse without a fan or heating options? Which we kind of went over, but if you want to do like a summary of it.
You definitely can. I mean, there's many different, you know, is it an attached greenhouse? I mean, is it something that it's attaching to another building or, you know, if it's freestanding? I mean, definitely, of course, you know, if you're going to try to grow in the summertime, wherever you are, ventilation is really, really important to keep your greenhouse at a certain temperature so it doesn't overheat. And of course, if you are trying to either winterize or grow through the winter time, of course, you're going to need the desire or enough heat to keep it where you want it to be through the winter time. But you know, a greenhouse is meant to heat up, and if you're not monitoring or adjusting the heat the temperatures in there, it's going to be quite hot in there. So again, if it is attached to another building and you have ways of cooling it from that building, let's say, or heating it from that building, yes, you can do that. I hope I answered the question correctly.
Awesome, thank you. I have another one from Michelle, actually. How does delivery affect the pricing for the greenhouses?
Cassie, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, yeah, I can answer this one here. So any pricing that you see in our catalog, it does not include delivery cost in it. If you let us know the size and the model that you're looking at, as well as your postal code or zip code, we can pretty quickly calculate a shipping cost for you. It's going to be slightly different for each location and depends on the model that you're looking at as well. So we are more than happy to figure that out for you. It shouldn't take us too long to get that.
Awesome, thank you. And I have one from Jeff. He's asking about foundations. For an 8x10 Cape Cod model, how do I know the needed foundation dimensions so that we don't make it too large or too small?
All right, I'll ask that. Yeah, for sure. So when you do order your greenhouse and you want some plans for the foundation, we'll be happy to give you that. What we do is we actually give you a layout of the greenhouse that shows the outside dimensions of the greenhouse, and as well the door openings that's needed if you are putting it on a raised a knee wall or foundation wall. Then we can go beyond that by giving you an actual foundation layout, which again shows you basically the top side of the foundation on the outside measurements and the width needed on the foundation wall if you put up a foundation wall for the greenhouse that you're buying.
Great, thanks, Wayne. And then I have another one from sorry if I pronounced that wrong. If using a concrete foundation, what type of attachments are used for the traditional greenhouse? Are fasteners that are embedded into the concrete during pouring or attachment placed on top of the concrete after it cures?
Do you want me to jump on that or?
Sure, Kyle.
Yeah, okay. So we provide all the hardware to attach the greenhouse top down. So our engineers and our design department will figure out, we always ask the question, what foundation is it going on? So you're saying concrete. So we are going to include concrete plugs for our screws that go into your foundation. And if there's, depending on the size of the greenhouse, if there's truss or internal posts, we also include all the anchor bolts to be embedded top down into your foundation. We don't want or need any preset anchors that are already embedded in the concrete. We actually want to avoid that as much as possible because it's too hard to get those placements exactly right. Our tolerances are too tight for that. So everything is designed top down, and we provide all the hardware.
Awesome, thank you. Next question I have is, do you need to purchase options like an exhaust fan heater when purchasing your greenhouse, or can they be bought and installed later?
I can answer this one here. So typically, it is easiest and most cost effective to order all of the options at the same time as the greenhouse. We can give the best recommendations. All of the glass will be cut to the exact size that's needed to accommodate any of those accessories. If you decide a couple years down the line that you want to make any changes, we're very open to that as well. You will likely have to replace a piece or two of glass just to fit any of those accessories in the model, and there would be a shipping cost for that separately. But it is doable for any accessories in the future. Mm-hmm.
Awesome, thanks, Cassie. I have another one from Helena. Would it be a mistake to do glass in Colorado in an area that's prone to hail?
I'll answer that if you like, or Cal. Do you want to answer it, Cal? Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's because the glass is tempered. If you really love the look of glass and you want glass, then yeah, it really is not an issue with our greenhouses with our tempered glass. It's strong. We don't have problems. Chances are, if it was a significant issue, you would have other property damage that maybe affected first, cars, other things that would be damaged before the greenhouse would. But it not impossible, but it doesn't come up. So I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it if that's the look. Polycarbonate is guaranteed against hail damage, and there's other benefits to having polycarbonate in the roof and glass in the walls. Polycarbonate will deflect any hail. It doesn't mean that the hail can't leave a little bit of an indent to it, but functionally and performance-wise, it won't have any adverse effect on the actual polycarbonate roof if you went that route. But either way, it won't. Polycarbonate will never be a problem, other than maybe some indents, and glass. It doesn't come up where we have problems, so again, I wouldn't not recommend it.
Awesome. I do have another one about polycarbonate. Does it become cloudy with time and in aging in the sun?
I could answer that if you like. So there is, I believe about 12 years down the road, 10 to 12 years down the road, that there can be a little bit of hazing in our polycarbonate, as any polycarbonate, but I believe is a very small percentage and not really even noticeable with the naked eye that there is any hazing on the polycarbonate. It's not going to make the the polycarbonate is going to be just as efficient as it always will be. The only thing, of course, with that hazing, it may actually just shade it a little bit more than what it is, but yeah, it does not affect the efficiency of the polycarbonate. And I know we've had a polycarbonate for, gosh, I'm going to say what, 20 years, Kyle, at least. We've been using it.
We've been using it since 1992, actually. It's a great material. To get more into the specifics if people want it, The new light transmission, say twin wall polycarbonate, has an 82% visible light transmission. Over the guarantee is that over the course of 10 years, it won't vary more than 6% off of that due to any hazing or discoloration. So that's to be technical. And we have to, that warranty is whether you're in a cloudy region, say Pacific Northwest, it's going to last for decades longer than that. And but if you're in a high elevation in New Mexico, then you will see that 6% over 10 years. Like that, then that's when you'd actually see the degradation. It takes usually high elevation in a desert climate where you're getting tons of sun. That's where you're going to see the fastest or quickest degradation. But the max you will see would be 6% off of brand new over 10 years. So a usable lifespan we normally say is 20 plus years.
Thanks, guys. I have a question on if we have a recommended height for a foundation wall. Someone is looking to get an 8x12 cottage, and ideally they would like to have a wooden foundation.
Jennifer, you want to touch on that?
Yes, so we can accommodate just about any type, any height of the greenhouse, the foundation wall. For a greenhouse that size, so I would say anywhere from usually around 12 inches is very popular. It depends on the size of your wood as well, if you're doing one layer of wood or more. So that all comes into play.
And then we have a question regarding how close you need to be towards utilities. So how close should the greenhouse be to the source of electricity? We will be putting ours near a shed that is wired and plan to plug, sorry, my mouse is blocking some of this, plug in things to the outside outlet of the shed. But they don't want the shed to affect any shade.
I can just jump in. The distance of an outdoor heavy duty extension cord, if you're gonna run a cord directly from the greenhouse to the shed, it can be as long as you want to run a heavy duty extension cord. And if you want to feed off of the electrical in the shed and get an electrician to wire it, it can really be as much as they want. It could be a couple of 100 feet if you're having an electrician that's going to trench out and feed off the electrical from the shed to the greenhouse. It doesn't have to be that close, but if you do run the extension cord, you want to watch it if you have to walk over it or if you're going across the lawn or anything like that. But if it's heavy duty extension cord, they come up 100 feet is not out of the realm.
Great. The next one I have is from Megan. What is the benefit of having a double bay side vent on an 8x12 greenhouse?
I can answer this one. So the side vent, it's really great for ventilation. It is more of a passive ventilation option, but the nice thing about the side vent in particular is it does not require any electricity and it's very low maintenance. So inside of the cylinder that's filled with wax, and depending on how warm it is inside of the greenhouse, the wax will expand and push the vent open. And then there is an adjustment knob as well, so you can have it open at a cooler or warmer temperature, or you can disable it. So this is very low maintenance and it will really help with airflow in your greenhouse.
Awesome. And we have one from Frank. What is the typical lead time from purchase to delivery?
I can answer that. Actually, our lead times are very good right now. It really all depends, Frank, on the size of greenhouse, what glazing options you have. If it's a smaller greenhouse with single glass or twin wall polycarbonate, that's definitely something that we can get out within about 4 to 6 weeks. Not an issue, or even sooner. But if it does have things like double glass or 6mm glass, that may take a little bit longer to get the glass order for the greenhouse. And as well, if there's no customizations or engineered drawings that need to be done in the process for permitting, let's say, of your greenhouse. So yeah, so if it's a very standard, simple greenhouse, yeah, we have very short lead times right now that we can get it out as very quickly.
Great. And I have one from Roger. They're already a BCG. They're an owner. They have a question about flooring. We used road base for the initial flooring. However, we're unsure about how best to manage the flooring once soil and other bits and pieces end up on the deck. And if we had any recommendations there.
Sorry, they're using floor base. So was it road base?
Road base for initial flooring.
Would that be like a bottom layer of like an asphalt or I'm not, do you guys know what that is?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out myself. If road base is just like yeah, like an asphalt or pavement. I'm not 100%.
Right. And so the question was, what do you do if particles are dropping on it? Is that, sorry, kind of?
Yeah, cleaning up soils and other bits and pieces once they end up filling it.
Oh, once they end up filling it. So, well, I guess from a maintenance standpoint,
Someone clarified. Thank you, Glenn. Road base is crushed stone mixed with fines and gravel.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So just the gravel foundation. Normally, underneath that, we would recommend having a weed screen. But any particles that fall in there, usually it's not anything significant. If you have a big spill of dirt, then you probably want to clean it up. But we recommend that flooring for a lot of greenhouses, having like a 3/4 inch crushed gravel as your main flooring, and then have some paving stones where you're walking. But the beauty of that is that it doesn't really matter if you spill anything on there. Is that's always the impression and advice we've had, correct, Wayne?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, I was just thinking we should probably follow up on that.
Yeah, she wrote me.
Sorry. Yeah, no, yeah, crushed gravel is normal. And most of the time you hose it down, it's going to absorb underneath the gravel. It's going to absorb through, depending on what you have underneath that. Like you said, a weed screen or soil, it's probably going to drain really, really well. And whatever mess or soil that you have on top of that is going to probably disappear.
Awesome. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the next. Can individual panes be changed easily when necessary? So if like say like a pane of glass breaks in a storm or something.
I can answer this one. Yes, it's very easy to replace. If you're local, we have a lot of glass sizes in stock that are standard, or we can always order it in if it's a more custom size. If you're not local, you have a couple of options. You can purchase the glass directly from us, or we can give you all of the specifications you need to get the glass cut locally. Typically, you will need replacement silicone and foam tape, or if you already have some leftover, you can use those as well.
Awesome. And then I have another one from Bruce. What is the advantage to having a foundation wall?
Foundation wall?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good question. So there's a few reasons for having a foundation wall. One, if you want to maintain our standard 5'6" sidewalls on our greenhouse and you want to raise your greenhouse any taller, foundation wall will of course help do that. The second reason that most people put those in is as well, let's say most people have benches or things along the side of the greenhouse that they're using. It's a good thing to have to hide a lot of the empty pots and soil bags and stuff like that you would have underneath the benches, so that looks nice and tidy. You don't see any of that from the outside. The third thing to have that, so a lot of times it's aesthetics. That a lot of people like to match, let's say, the foundation of another building nearby or their house. If you have a really nice 3-foot stone foundation on your house or brick, some people would like to match that aesthetically so everything blends in.
Awesome. I do have another one from Helena. So the winter, they're in Colorado. They're curious about what heating options are most common, and if there's any knowledge on cost efficiency, energy efficiency for those systems.
Depending on the size of the greenhouse, if it's a larger greenhouse, we would normally recommend natural gas or propane versus electricity. If it's a smaller greenhouse, say 200 square feet or less, I would recommend looking at electrical. We also would want to help you match the correct glazing with the greenhouse, depending on what you want to do with it over winter, just to make sure that you're not heating the outside completely. And that's from an efficiency standpoint. The natural gas or propane are probably more efficient for larger than electric. And then also for people that want to really minimize their heating bill, you can do things with your greenhouse to make it more efficient. People will put tubs filled with water in that will heat up during the day, especially in Colorado when you're getting tons of sun, but it's still very cold. The tubs of water can heat up during the day and then release heat at night. Sometimes people put a bit of an energy blanket, like a screening over their greenhouse. They almost like turn the greenhouse down at the end of the day, so that all that retained warmth in the soil or the tubs it doesn't have to heat as large of a space. But there's things you can do to increase your efficiency. But typically larger would be natural gas propane. Smaller would be going with electricity. And 240-volt electricity for a slightly bigger than small greenhouse would be more efficient than 110 volts. So that would usually require an electrician.
Great. And I have one from Mead Garden. Do windows open by sliding open to the side, or do they tilt open, or are there other options?
I can touch on that here. So we do have a few options for this. Our more common standard double bay side vents, they are hinged at the top, so they'll open from the bottom. Those can be manual or automatic. We also have a glass louver option. That would be a single pane glass louver style. That would be manual. And then if you're looking at our more meridian line, we can do more custom rotor crank window or larger window openings as well. We don't have any standard sliding windows at the moment though.
This is from Mark. For a lean-to construct, how is the wall of the structure to which the greenhouse is attaching modified to isolate heat, like for temperature, humidity of the greenhouse?
I can answer that if you like. Yeah, so we don't find the wall that you're attaching to, as long as that's an insulated wall, we don't find that there's much any effect to that wall itself in regards from any humidity and such from the greenhouse. Yeah, that's Kyle, I don't know of anything more than that.
No, so what we would say, like, there's no, depending on what type of siding you have, if it's a beveled siding, you may need to create a way for us to have a flat surface to attach to. So it might be removing some, like taking the beveled portion out, or like doing a buzzsaw strip and putting what we call a trim board in, and some flashing to seal it off, to seal the greenhouse to it. We have some resources for attached greenhouses that get into that, about how to attach to the building. But it can go straight onto a flat surface. It would be pinned to it. So we do include fasteners to fasten to that attached wall, and we would provide sealant to seal it to that wall. So it becomes more of a permanent fixture. In terms of Wayne's touching on the humidity and moisture and possible mold or rot, it is not a problem. Inside the greenhouse, it's a more controlled environment than outside. So you're going to have a more stable humidity level in the greenhouse. It won't be getting hot, cold, wet, dry, like the outside of your house will. So typically, in our experience, the wall that's covered by the greenhouse will last longer or have less wear and tear to it than the rest of the wall that's exposed to the elements. So that's more of the concern. If you did have so much humidity or moisture that you're getting a mold or mildew, that's actually bad for the plant. So you'd be controlling that anyway, but that's all part of that air circulation and circulating fans and that we've talked about or already touched on, so that it's not an issue.
Awesome. I have another one from Mead Garden. They're considering a Grand Meridian greenhouse. They ask, can the foundation be a perimeter foundation so the floor can be open ground?
Yeah, I can answer that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the interior of the greenhouse flooring can be anything you want. Absolutely. It's not necessary to have a solid concrete pad or anything for the greenhouse, as long as the perimeter wall, of course, is solid and has proper footings on it to support the greenhouse. That's all it's needed.
Awesome. And I think I have a good one to kind of end our Q&A with here. It's from Lindsay. What is the first step that should be taken when moving forward with getting a greenhouse? Should it be to obtain permits, getting a foundation, placing the greenhouse order, or something else?
Cassie or Jennifer?
Yeah, I can talk about this one here. So first step would be contact us and let us know what your plans are. We can help in all of those processes. So we can help with design and options. Next step would be getting your permits and placing the order. We can do those around the same time. We can provide engineering that you would need for the permitting process, but usually we try and get on that, all of the details confirmed, so that you can start on the permit process. From there, we can place the order and get everything delivered, but contact us, let us know your plans, so we can get started on drawings for you.
Awesome. I actually do have one more. Sorry, my bad. I missed it. Do you incorporate solar panels in the roof, or can the greenhouse be customized to have solar panels?
You guys want me to take this one? Or Jen, were you about to? Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, you can take this one.
We can modify our greenhouses to accommodate solar panels. It's not super common, but we can. So we have in the past, but it's not super common to put solar panels on the greenhouse because it would be blocking the sun that's coming in too. So usually near the top, near the ridge beam on the south-facing wall, we can do accommodate, so have some points of contact where you can fasten into our exterior capping. So it is possible, not super common.
Awesome. If there's any other questions, now would be the time to either put them in the chat or raise your hand. I'll give it like another 30 seconds. Otherwise, we can kind of start to wrap up here. So if you wanted to get connected with us in any way, oh, wait, there is one more. Just kidding. So if you wanted to get connected with us, you can find us on our website, bcgreenhouses.com. If you want to reach out to our sales team directly, you can use that hello@BC Greenhouses or call us at the number listed there. We're here 9 to 5 Pacific time every day, for the weekdays, that is. But yeah, if you have any additional questions, I don't mind hanging out a bit longer to accommodate that. But yeah.
I just wanted to quickly say, first of all, thank you everyone for joining us, and thanks for all of your amazing questions. We're also going to be, we've recorded this today, and so we'll be putting this on our YouTube channel as well as our Vimeo channel, and we'll send out a link. No, we won't, because we forgot we didn't get you to register. So those will be on our 2 channels, and you can certainly refer back to the recording then. But by all means, get in touch, because we love to talk to people about their greenhouse plans. Thanks so much. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.